Grabando. A ver que se escuche bien. Si se escucha... Uy, cuidado. Si se escucha muy alto me lo decís, ¿vale? O muy bajo. Y os lo subo. Yo soy vuestro Dios. Pedid y se os dará. Pero tampoco pidáis demasiado, ¿eh? Soy un Dios bastante modesto. Cuidado. Vale. Por eso, jefe, por eso he dicho. Por eso he dicho que soy modesto. Sabía que alguien iba a decir algo así.
Hello everyone and welcome to our Gamescom
Buenas, Lalito, ¿qué tal?
Xbox stream.
We've got so many great game
Se escucha bien,
updates
¿no?
to share with you today. We're talking Age of Empires 4, Psychonauts 2, and my personal favorite, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Later on, we'll take an extended look at Forza Horizon 5. There's so much going into this, and Playground Games' vision of Mexico is muy bonito.
And we'll be getting our first
Perdón.
I got $5 on it being one of those electric scooters that you see piled up on the sidewalk.
Will Kate win $5? I guess we're about to find out.
Yes, indeed. Our Xbox Plays team will also chat with devs and deep dive into current and upcoming games all week on twitch.tv/Xbox.
Let's get started with
Me suena a este hombre, creo que lo he visto en Twitter, ¿verdad? Ah, no, si estuve en la otra conferencia hace poco, ¿verdad? En la última conferencia que hubo de... En la otra conferencia que hubo de Xbox, ¿no?
Hello, I am Timon Smektawa, Dying Light 2 lead game designer. And this is David Lubrica, animation director. Hi. We can't wait until December 7th to finally give you Dying Light 2 Stay Human, the game we have been working on really hard for the last few years.
We're hoping the gameplay video you're about to watch will give you a
Cierto, es verdad.
hardcore and combat
Bueno, Lalito, gracias por el
systems
aviso.
in the game.
And we are just about to enter the city, fighting our
Ya
way
está.
through its
Thank you.
brutal and dangerous streets. Though, as you will see in a moment, there are plenty of things you can use to your advantage. So watch closely, look for special combat and parkour moves, and check out how with just a bit of creativity you can combine the two. Ready? Let's go.
Sometimes I wonder what this city
¿Qué son,
is like
suecos?
before all
¿O
this.
polacos? ¿Los de...
Probably like
los
many
de
others.
Tesla?
People had their ambitions, plans, lives. Now it's all
Polacos
gone.
también.
The virus started it, but it was the people who made
No sé
it
por qué he
the
dicho
way it
suecos.
is. This city, Villador. They tell me they had a vision. They had hope. But soon, one vision broke into many different ones.
Hostia,
Instead of
bicharraco.
fighting together, people stood against each other. War broke out.
Was it a little bird? Met a broken leg?
Hope died. Now the city is falling.
Each time we strike down an enemy, we absorb their strength.
But I can't let that happen.
Eso es nuevo, ¿verdad? Eso es nuevo, eso no estaba en el 1, ¿verdad?
I need the secrets the city holds.
Fuck! Hey! Still some rats here!
I have to pick a side.
The bazaar needs good people. You're doing great so far.
Es difícil aplicar el parkour a un juego en primera persona,
I
¿eh?
have to make a difference.
Y la verdad es que en base al recibimiento que tuvo el 1 y tal, pues parece que lo hicieron muy bien. Uy, le iba a afeitar.
They say that
Porque se
great
queja si le iba a afeitar.
is a series of small gestures.
Gratis.
How about this series?
Dios. ¿Tenemos poderes ahora? ¿Y eso? What?
Is all hope really gone? We'll see about that.
Well, that was an exciting trip, wasn't it, Timo? Did you notice those bandits in medieval-like armor passing by skyscrapers, banks, and large billboards? That's what we call a modern Dark Ages.
And it's a very unique design, one very important for the plot of Dying Light 2. But there's another thing that stood out to me, all those parkour moves that you and
Yo no lo he
your team
jugado.
has put so much effort
Yo no lo he jugado.
into.
He visto un
all
poco,
you need is
pero
a
no
few
lo he
thousands of
jugado.
animations, cooperation with professional tracers, mock-up sessions, and invaluable help from David Bell, whose face and moves player will see in the game, by the way.
No, yes, right. And we've got twice the number of parkour moves compared to the first game, and we are showing some of them in this trailer. The vault kicks being the most important to me personally. It brings a whole new fighting style into the game. The player can stagger an enemy and use them to perform further attacks, for example by rebounding from their bodies, jumping off them onto other foes, and so on.
I think we captured the movement really well and made it quite simple for the players to perform. I can't wait for them to try it out and tell for themselves how much they loved it.
It's definitely going to be useful. The city's buildings are higher than anything we have done before, improving its verticality. Players will need to find a way to reach those tall skyscrapers and other challenging spots too.
Then it's good we
Es mucho
scattered
tiempo,
some
¿verdad?
helpers around,
¿Qué pasa?
like a paraglider, which can support
Porque
players
tienes que
in
ponerlo.
both
Tienes que
parkouring
activar los
and combat.
subtítulos. Le das a la
Exactly,
rueda.
and it's gonna do
Y le
great,
das.
especially in fights against humans, which are more frequent and important than in Dying Light 1. It's been over 20 years since the events from the first game, so people adjusted. They are much bolder now, at least during the day.
And they are more vicious too.
And I think that's a
Qué
great
risa.
summary of this discussion. Pre-order Dying Light 2 and explore its vast, complex world on December 7th. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Tiene que hacer Timón. Ahí está bien. Thanks, David. Thanks, Timón. Ahí hubiese sido.
For the first time in the storied history of the franchise, Microsoft Flight Simulator launched on a home console with the release on Xbox Series X and S last month. Reviewers and gamers alike were blown away by how well the stunning visuals and the depth of the simulation translated to the console, and that's why I'm extremely honored to welcome the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yo no tardé ni
George Newman, to the
3 ni
stream.
5 minutos en
George, thank you for
estrellarme.
being here. The last
Estando en
time we
el
met
modo
was
más
at
fácil
the
de
Xbox
controlar.
Game Showcase, and it was getting ready to come out on consoles. How did that go?
It went great. As you said, the reaction to the Xbox console
Sí, sí,
launch
totalmente,
was,
o sea, no.
was really just amazing. Both from Xbox gamers and from the press, they've been so gracious with their feedback. I don't know if you know, but Flight Simulator is one of the highest rated games on Xbox this year, which I think is just great validation that the translation of the simulation to the console has really worked well. Our usage numbers are through the roof. We are absolutely shattering franchise records, and I can tell you there have never been more people playing Flight Simulator than right now. So it's an awesome time.
That is awesome. Congratulations on the launch, really. But
Ah, vale, el DLC de Top
Alright.
Gun, ¿no?
I want to go to the danger zone. So what's going on with Top Gun?
There's so much going on, Paris. So you and I talked about Top Gun Maverick earlier. The fans are super excited. They saw
Yo no
the
lo
FAT,
conozco mucho este
can't
hombre.
wait to
O sea,
start flying.
lo he visto alguna que otra vez en
And, you know,
Twitter
it comes out
y
later
lo
this
vimos
year. It's
la
free
última vez
DLC
en el evento de
alongside
Xbox,
the
pero
movie.
no lo conozco.
But as the movie is still under wraps, so are we.
Te veo en
so I can
pantalla grande y
still not
pequeña.
tell you that much about
Ahí es
it.
como se hace.
But there's so
Tú sí
much
que sabes
else going
disfrutar,
on,
Forrunner.
even before Maverick. So we are continuing to do our monthly big releases that we've been doing for a long time. And next month, on September 7th, we are
El 7 de
launching
septiembre.
World Update 6. And this World Update, I mean, at the beginning of the show, if you remember, there was a little red plane
Yeah,
flying into
yeah.
Cologne. Well, we did that because World Update 6 updates that region, the region of Gamescom. So Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And what that means to us is we have new aerial and satellite images. we
Vale,
have a
en
new
septiembre, en la
elevation
actualización de
map
septiembre
that
añade
helps us with
Colonia,
the
¿no?
mountains. So
Como...
the
¡Ay!
Alps actually look
Cuidado.
awesome now.
Cuidado,
We
esos
have
tirones,
new
que me
3D
asusto.
cities like Frankfurt and Wuppertal in Germany. We have Basel in Switzerland. We have Vienna and Graz in Austria. And those cities look just amazing.
Es brutal cómo se ve, tío, me cago en la leche.
Resolution, and it's awesome. But we want to celebrate the entire region, so we picked 100 of the most scenic places, the most famous landmarks, and we call those POIs, and we sort of spread them throughout the simulation, and we also added airports.
Escuchar tres personas a la vez es complicado,
Stuttgart in Germany, and Klagenfurt in Austria, and St. Gallen in Switzerland, and what it ties it all together is missions. We're having new discovery flights, we have new landing challenges, and we have
nuevos desafíos.
Sort of tours of the country. So they fly you around all the awesome looking places and really celebrate the beauty of this region of Earth. And this is a celebration of DACH, of Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. I'm so happy to be able to announce the date here at Gamescom.
You know, that is really incredible, all the different regions and everything that you're going to have in the game, and the way that you're going to be able to actually highlight those.
Yeah, I think it's really cool, but you know, for us, it's actually not just the region and the visuals. We talked a lot when you study aviation, when you love aviation like we do, you actually realize that a lot of regions of Earth have a very special relationship with flying, with aviation. Sometimes it's, you know, the first experiments with aircraft, or a famous pilot, or a feat of aviation, or like a local manufacturer. So we thought to ourselves, why do we not use these world updates to celebrate the planes? So we are announcing a new series. We call them Local Legends. And think about that as planes that are locally well known, like in that region, but outside in the world not so much. But why not use the world updates to highlight this, to bring these awesome machines to a worldwide audience? So for World Update 6, we picked a German plane from the 1930s. It's called Junkers.
Yo pienso que lo que están haciendo ahora mismo con Flight Simulator es lo que va a pasar, es lo que van a hacer con Forza Motorsport. Básicamente. Se va a llamar Forza Motorsport sin ningún número y lo van a ir actualizando con el tiempo.
So we're doing a full scan. We take full scans of the outside and the inside, as detailed as 1 millimeter, which is as good as you can do this. And then we're working with, for the Junkers, we work with Bernd Junkers, who is the grandson of the original creator of the plane, Hugo Junkers, and he's helping us. He had a ton of insight and materials. Then we worked with an organization that is preserving one of the last surviving examples of the Junkers. So they let us scan and take photographs, and then we were lucky that to find a pilot that actually flew one of those planes while it was still flying in the real world, and he lets us know, like, is the cockpit right and the sounds right, does it feel right in the air? So we're having a blast working with these experts to really bring these, to celebrate.
Yo en principio veo un buen formato. Lanzar un juego así, al menos a un juego como Forza, yo creo que le queda bastante bien un juego como un juego de coches.
So we're working with 40 museums around the world.
Ir añadiendo los modelos, ya sea antiguos o nuevos, ir añadiéndolos y que ya. Yo lo veo bien, en principio. Exactamente.
When we come in with our scanning equipment, and we're basically capturing their planes, and they know that we can digitally preserve them in perpetuity, and we're actually giving those scans back to the museum so they can do something.
Y luego esos escaneos.
It's a great collaboration. And we're actually not just looking back in the
algo del estilo, ¿no? Lo que pasó, por ejemplo, escanean los aviones y después se los dan a los museos pues para que hagan trabajos o que les sea de utilidad. Algo del estilo como pasó con la 90 minutos. Algo como lo que pasó con
how these drone type machines basically connect people in large cities. We're working directly with the engineering team to make sure that we are capturing their plane and their aircraft perfectly in the flight simulator, and that's coming out in November.
Hostia, qué bien más raro. ¿Esto existe? ¿Esto existe, tío? ¿Eso es un avión de verdad? ¿Existe eso? Bueno, un avión. No sé cómo coño se llama eso.
I'm so happy to announce that we've partnered with RARA. That's the Reno Air Racing Association, and every year they put on something called the Steel National Championship Air Race, and we're bringing this to Flight Simulator. So this is the fastest motorsport. This is right down your alley. It's the fastest motorsport on Earth, and I actually brought you a little trailer.
Sí, ¿verdad? Tenía un montón de hélices, tenía como 6 o 7 hélices.
We go into the danger zone, baby. Let's go ahead and show that.
Real Time 4K. Real Time 4K y el vídeo para 1080 el stream. Pero bueno, esto después, hay que verlo, después lo suben en 4K. en diferido.
You know I like going fast, and you know I love being in the danger zone. When is this coming out?
Man, these planes, they fly 500 miles, faster than 500 miles an hour, 50 to
800
250
kilómetros
feet above
por
the
hora,
ground.
what?
So you are definitely going to be in the danger zone. I mean, without
Hostias.
going into too much detail, this Reno Air Race is actually the largest expansion we have since we
Me
launched
cago en
on Flight
Dios.
Simulator. It's not just because we scanned all the famous race planes of the world. There's lots of them. This is also the first time when you can basically race against your friends and pilots across the planet. And so a competitive multiplayer is coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and that will definitely test your pilot skills.
¿Competitivo?
And you ask, when is it coming
Será
out?
en tiempos y cosas
This is
así.
coming out this fall, so it's right around the corner.
Oh, that is fantastic. And you know I have the need for speed, so I can't wait to get my hands on this.
Multijugador
participate
competitivo,
in some of these
supongo que serán
air races.
carreras,
we
tío.
got you covered.
Carreras
Thank
aéreas.
you. If going fast on the
Sí,
ground
sí.
is more your speed,
Pero,
keep
tío,
an eye out for extended look at
está
Forza
bien,
Horizon
tío, que le
5
añadan,
later
pero
on in the
joder.
stream. We'll also talk with Wasteland 3's game director about the game's next
Joder.
big DLC. But first, if you're an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, we
Pero
have some
son
great
carreras
news for you.
de... Hombre, según la velocidad de los aviones, ¿no? Porque las distancias son reales, es tiempo real. O sea, joder. Archivale. Vale. No me gusta este, no me llama. Tampoco. Ya veremos. Vale, un prisionero. Puede estar bien este casicote. Puede estar bien. Puede estar bien. Este me gusta, me gusta el pixel art. Este juego me gusta el pixel art. Ese me gusta. Un simulador de ordenar tu habitación. Un poco raro. Vale, esto tiene pinta de ser una aventura gráfica, ¿no? Así... Tengo que aprender a despegar. Oye, pues ha habido un par, 2, 3 que me han llamado la atención. Todos esos juegos disponibles de lanzamiento. Está bien, está bien, está bien. Todos disponibles de lanzamiento.
Even more games to Game Pass. Let's talk about what's coming up. We're talking Age of Empires 4, the game's creative director, and we're going to see what's next for Sea of Thieves. But now we've got a new roguelike retro
Hombre, Sea of Thieves, un juego nuevo.
fashion.
No me suena ese juego.
Mysterious eldritch terror. Let's dive into the pit.
Into the pit. Qué raro. Es un roguelike. Que es en primera persona, ¿no? Sí, ¿no? Es el Doom. Ah, no. Vale, pensaba que era otro. Este juego es un juego que mata los píxeles. Muy bien. Disponible también en Game Pass. Este no me interesa. Este no me ha llamado.
Well, I am here with creative director of World's Edge, Adam Eisgreen. And Adam, I'm so excited to talk Age 4, of course, because you've brought something a little different and very special today.
Yeah, I have. So, so far we've been showing everyone kind of what Age looks like from in the game, when you're playing it. You've gotten to see a lot of footage of that. And we've also shown a little bit of our campaigns, right, through when we unveiled the 100 Years War and showed Joan of Arc. But we have yet another way in Age of Empires 4 that we're kind of bringing history to life that we haven't talked about yet.
See, you do this to me. You put me in suspense. I want to know more, so let's go with it. Let's hear more.
Okay, wait, you get.
Tiene ya fecha, así que.
Okay, that's
de momento solo anunciado para PC.
What we brought today is we have these wonderful little videos that we've created that are interspersed amongst the campaign, and they're about 3 to 5 minutes each, and we have over an hour of them total, and they're called Hands-on Histories. And what they are is a great way to like deep dive on certain fun subjects from the cultures we're representing and just from medieval history.
Excellent. Well, I hear you've actually brought one of those segments that you're going to share here for the very first time.
Yes, I have. We are going to show you the segment on one of
Lo que tienen que hacerle es
popular
lanzarlo en
moments from
Xbox,
Age of Empires franchise and a fan favorite,
optimizarlo para Xbox y lanzarlo como mínimo ya de entrada compatible con ratón y teclado. Y después adaptarlo a mando. Porque si está el City Skyline en consola, no sé por qué no puede estar el Age of Empires. Pero bueno, ya de entrada es lanzarlo compatible con ratón y teclado. Es lo que deberían hacer. Es lo que deberían hacer. Y después adaptarlo a mando. Porque seguro que se puede. Seguro. Y después que ya cada uno lo juegue como quiera, con mando o con ratón y teclado.
Originating in 7th century China, by the 13th century, trebuchets had evolved
Sí.
into devastatingly powerful weapons.
Such a simple design, but so effective.
It has several key features.
Ah,
A
vale.
pivoted arm with a weight at one end, and a sling to hold the projectile at the other. To
Si
prime,
puedes.
the 6-ton weight is raised using tread wheels.
So this is one of the wheels, one of 2 that's attached to an axle. Which would
De catapulta, yo
lift
quiero
the
una de
counterweight,
esas.
weighing 6
¿Quién no ha querido una
It's based
catapulta?
on muscle power
¿Quién no ha
alone.
querido una catapulta?
What's essential about launching a projectile as far as possible is making sure that this end of the arm is moving as fast as possible. So once that weight drops, it really sends this point of the arm moving at its highest velocity.
Va así.
This was
¿Quién?
done by
No sabía que había
positioning
sido una
the pivot
catapulta.
close to the
No sabía.
counterweight,
Hostia,
and by launching the projectile from a sling.
qué buena explicación.
When released, the sling whips round, vastly increasing the launch speed. Trebuchets were carefully aimed, like modern guns.
In order
Lo
to
que no sé
weaken
es
the
cómo se
castle walls
apuntaba.
or even breach them,
Eso sí
you
que
had
no
to
lo
make
sé,
sure
cómo
that
se
the
apuntaba.
projectiles hit the same spot every single time.
For each projectile to follow the same trajectory, they all had to be the same weight and shape. To achieve this,
Con papel y pluma.
masons used a gauge.
Now
O
I'm
sea,
going to load
no tenía nada.
into the sling.
No tenía algo
This
como
one
una
must weigh
especie
about
de
25
sitio en el
kilograms, but
que
some projectiles can get up to
orientarse,
150
como si fuese una especie de mira o
kilograms.
algo.
That's the weight of 2 men.
Trebuchets were also used to throw burning tar, beehives, even dead bodies. Anything to cause maximum distress to the enemy.
Did you hear that whoosh?
It was the counterweight trebuchet's lethal combination of power and accuracy that made it the ultimate medieval siege weapon.
You know I'm going to say trebuchet. Don't care because that is awesome and remarkably unique, something you don't see in
Yo lo
games very
probaré.
often.
Será el primer juego de Age of
So,
Empires que pruebe,
you know,
porque
one of
nunca he
the
jugado a
things when
ninguno,
we're
pero
looking at
bueno.
what we're gonna do with Age of
No me va a
Empires
gustar,
4,
estoy seguro.
there's a
Estoy
phrase I'm
seguro
really
porque no
fond
es
of,
mi
which
género,
is
pero bueno,
history is only as
por
interesting
probarlo
as the
no
people who taught it
pierdo
to
nada.
you. And you could say that about any subject really, right? But I think the great thing is when you have someone that's so enthusiastic.
Conocerlo, por supuesto,
passionate
siempre lo he
about
conocido,
history,
de
it really comes
siempre.
across.
El Age of
We
Empires
wanted
siempre lo he
to be
conocido.
that kind of teacher
Pero
for
nunca
history.
lo he probado.
And there's a phrase called humanized history that I use to kind of describe what we try to do, which is we try to like connect past and present. And you can see that kind of in our briefings as well, where we've got like real stuff with like CG kind of overlaid to show you the history. And so for these, we really wanted to do that same thing. So ourselves and Relic partnered with this amazing group in the UK called Lion TV, and they've done production on an amazing amount of shows and documentaries for the BBC and won every award you can imagine for media. And they travel to all of these locations in all these different countries to meet with these subject matter experts and get all of this great footage on how things really worked and how things were made. And it's been delightful to kind of go through that process and, you know, get all these and finally start showing them to everyone.
I love it. Now, you also, of course, you've got a bunch, as you mentioned, of these hands-on history segments. Anything else that you can tell us fans about what we can expect, looking forward to? Any favorites you got coming up?
Oh, well, favorites. Oh, man. Well, I think my personal favorite is one called Medieval Surgery. Okay. And I'm going to let your imagination go with what we might show and what we might talk about in that one.
Yeah. Pero más que hablen de detalles históricos, supongo, si es de...
They go all over the place. So, you know,
si están hablando de Age of Empires.
Castle building and like
pero
how
sí, hombre,
they kept flaming arrows from not going out when she shot them. And but we've also got all of these ones on, you know, like illuminated history and hawk falconing and, you know, like horse taming, armor creation, and there's even one on Mongolian instrumentation, which is really cool because those instruments, we actually use them in the soundtrack for the Mongols when you're playing as them in the campaign, in the game.
I mean, I just love the behemoth amount of history that you guys... Age of Empires, always known for bringing history alive in a completely different way. And I also love to mention this to people that you and the team do so much research. And it's so great to see this approach being used in a hands-on history kind of segment. But, I mean, what was that approach like to sort of, you know...
Y ahora se viene Sea of Thieves, exactamente. Ojo, que después de esto viene Sea of Thieves. Que van a hablar más aún.
Way. But I'll tell you, like full disclosure, it's been insanely nerve-wracking because we're trying something completely different that no one's ever done before in a game, right? We're history, but we're a game, but we're teaching you things, but you're having fun.
Hombre, no estaría mal que anunciasen otra expansión, ¿no?
And you know, every time we've shown the campaigns or we've shown these hands-on histories.
Hombre, sería lo suyo, no pueden.
It's going to work. Like people are going to like this.
Supongo que anunciarán otra expansión para Sea of Thieves.
Really experienced the entire thing put together. Have just been like, wow, this is great, and it's so different and kind of cool and refreshing. So, so far so good, right? But yeah, it's been a journey, you know, to get all this done and put.
Hoy es muy grande, hoy eres muy pequeño, tío. La tía es enorme.
Coming towards the end of this development journey for Age 4. Talk to me about where people can find and learn more about Age of Empires 4. I know they're all chomping at the bit.
Oh well, you know, October 28th, we are launching the game. You can go to ageofempires.com to learn more about the title, and if you're really, really excited, right now you can go onto the Microsoft Store or Steam, pre-order the game right now, and of course we will be there day one.
No me gusta su peinado, qué peinado si está calvo.
On that can just grab the game and start playing. But
yes, I believe you are a part of something very special.
Yes, so Gamescom opening night live.
Yes.
11 a.m. Pacific time. There might be something Age of Empires related in there, so if you're a fan, you probably should tune in.
Wow, mañana se va a hablar más de Age of Empires. Sí, ya. Sabía que te referías a ella, a mí tampoco.
Always a pleasure. Age of Empires 4 looks fantastic, so I cannot wait.
Mañana hay más clase de historia, sobre Age of Empires con Age of Empires mañana.
With our friends at Playground Games, but now let's catch up with Paris, who's gone from flying the skies in Microsoft Flight Sim to a different kind of cloud.
Mañana te enseñan a hacer fuego.
That's right, Kate. Xbox Cloud Gaming is already available on Windows PCs, mobile phones, and tablets. And now, it's coming to Xbox consoles. The future with cloud gaming sounds bright. No waiting to install, no running out of hard drive space, no waiting to patch, and no buying a new console just to play with your friends. See how the vision of cloud gaming will bring people together without barriers.
Without barriers.
So when I think about cloud and when I think about gaming, those two things together to me really show you the future where you can pick up something and you can play it anywhere and you could do it quickly.
Cloud gaming looks phenomenal.
This is pretty great. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
This actually looks so good.
Games are large and you want to keep the ones that you know you love on your hard drive. Xbox Cloud Gaming is about being able to discover the new ones right away. It's super exciting that for our Game Pass Ultimate members, they will get to experience Xbox Cloud Gaming on whatever console they have.
Cloud gaming is really about looking at how people play differently. I know me in particular, sometimes I just have 20 minutes.
It should be as easy as finding the game that you look for on your console and just jumping right in.
We're targeting 1080p at 60 frames per second.
What's crazy about this is like the latency. This is the kind of stuff you need with cloud gaming.
Oh, 60 frames? That's actually very smooth.
The process itself to get into cloud gaming.
Yo cuando lo probé no me fue muy bien, la verdad. No sé cómo habrá sido vuestra experiencia al probarlo, pero la mía no fue muy para allá, la verdad. Game Pass, Xcloud.
Yet. I can just wait for them to send me an invite. It makes content just so much more accessible.
I really love the flexibility. It's awesome.
Everything that Xbox is doing right now is just getting rid of the limits.
Es que en Murcia nos llega como nos llega.
O sea, console, play on PC and mobile,
igual
and
si
on Gen 8.
Yeah, Gen 8 consoles can play Gen 9 content. Isn't that so cool?
With cloud gaming, we have the ability, because you are connecting to consoles that are in our data centers, to allow the Gen 8 customers, the Xbox One customers, to play games that their hardware wouldn't have been able to play without it.
There's so much opportunity when it comes to thinking about how we can.
O sea, Xcloud va a llegar. Bueno, eso ya hubo una noticia. Que Xcloud llegará a Xbox One para la gente que no quiera o no puede pasarse a series, pues que pueda seguir jugando. Pero vamos. No sé.
August 9th saw the release of the free optimized update for Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice on the Xbox Series S and X.
¿En serio vas a hablar ahora de Hellblade?
Thanks to the addition of ray tracing and improved materials alongside performance updates.
Espero que no. Ahora vendrá el equipo a hablar de la gran experiencia que ha sido mejorarlo, ¿no?
Experience it for the first time. And if you haven't played this, do yourself a favor. Grab a pair of headphones and immerse yourself into this world.
Agreed. Speaking of unique experiences on Game Pass, the Xbox Plays team will be taking a look at some ID at Xbox titles over the next few days, including 12 Minutes and The Big Con.
They're also talking with developers from Halo, the Master Chief Collection, Forza Horizon 5, and Destiny 2. So
bueno, estas son charlas que van a ver a lo largo de la semana.
Burning questions answered. You can catch all of those streams on twitch.tv/Xbox.
Speaking of Forza Horizon 5, don't forget our friends at Playground Games will give us an extended look at their monument to motoring in Mexico later on.
Ahora hablarán de Forza.
Never before seen areas of the game map plus cars.
Por cierto, ¿sabes que la expresión de poner los cuernos viene de los vikingos?
Pues
no me suena haberlo sabido.
Now, Kate, there's more games to check out, right?
Well, right you are, Paris. Let's talk Wasteland 3. Their newest DLC introduces us to a new cult. The Cult of the Holy Detonation.
Esto es un anuncio, ¿no? No se sabía, ¿verdad? Un DLC de Wasteland 3. Hostia, esto es el sol de Spider-Man 2. Cuando se moría el hombre de una mujer, esta ponía unos cuernos en la puerta. Más o menos, algo así. Hay un ligero matiz distinto, pero curioso.
With new patches, bug fixes, and added features, like a fine wine, Wasteland 3 just gets better with age to really savor the game's bouquet. We're talking with inXile game director David Rogers. David, thank you for joining us.
Hablando del DLC.
Thanks.
So in the trailer, we saw that the DLC is coming out on October 5th, but we know, In Exile, Wasteland 3, you guys have been working on this for a very long time. So can you kind of talk about that journey?
Yeah, our dev team has been working non-stop full tilt, trying to make Wasteland 3 the best version of itself it could be. Over the past year since it's released, we've added features, we've balanced, we've listened to the community,
se anuncia algo, te pega un grito, ok,
and I really think that the version that we have now is the absolute best version of the game, and if you've never played it before, now's an awesome time to jump in.
Well, congratulations on everything that you've been doing with Wasteland 3. Now, this DLC is called The Cult of the Holy Detonation. Now, talk about that a little bit. Tell me what's going to go into this DLC. What should we be excited about?
Right, so you've heard of Cheyenne Mountain, right? Yes. For those who haven't, Cheyenne Mountain is this top secret military complex buried deep in the heart of Cheyenne Mountain in the middle of Colorado. It's designed to outlast a nuclear winter. And so when you hit level 16, an old friend calls you and says, hey, I need your help securing this secret military base and all the secrets within. And as soon as you get there, you find two warring cults battling over supremacy, trying to take control of the Holy Detonation, which is this pre-war science experiment.
No estoy dando su nivel, pero sí se parece, sí.
And these cultists are insane, they're mutated, they've gone totally mad, and all they want to do is share the holy radiation with you.
Creo que va a cometer el mismo error que cometen siempre muchos eventos de estos. Meten las entrevistas, las incluyen dentro del evento. Y creo que es un grave error siempre. Siempre que lo hacen es un grave error.
Siempre. And this is a Wasteland game, so you decide everything. Choice and consequence is our bread and butter. And so you decide who lives, who dies, who gets screwed over, who takes charge. You're deciding the fate of the cults, the Holy Detonation.
Pero pasa lo mismo en otros eventos. Por ejemplo, en el futuro Game Show, por ejemplo, también de E3. Y otro evento que también ni me acuerdo de cómo cojones se llama. O sea, no sé, es un formato, tal vez es un formato muy americano, ¿no? Supongo que será, tendría que ver con la forma de ser del formato americano. Pero, porque es que no entiendo.
Like in previous versions of Wasteland 3. And so we built this as a Wasteland-style dungeon crawl. And in there you find this awesome mix of mystery, exploration.
Sí, el E3 fue a saco, sí. Claro. Pero por supuesto yo no me esperaba ni un E3, vamos, ni la mitad del E3. Yo de esto no me espero nada, De esto no me espero ni la mitad de un E3. O sea, pero igual pueden hacer que la conferencia esta dure 60 minutos. Si es necesario, que dure 60. No tiene por qué durar 90.
Down turrets, just going on murderous rampages. It's not about killing, it's about getting the job done. And so now, combat doesn't end until the mission is over. We send you on proper combat missions. You're in there, breaking into prisons, rescuing POWs. You're disrupting these high-tech...
Claro que se plantean así. Por
you are
supuesto.
splitting your fire team and coordinating like you never have had to before. Like everyone on your team has a job.
Pero creo que es un error. Creo que es un error.
Ranger team like the back of their hands, and it's going to make them scratch their head and really have to rethink how they go about combat and making it new, exciting, and challenging, like mentally.
Porque creo que ese tipo de evento no satisface a nadie. Pero sin embargo, o sea, los que quieren solo saber los trailers y las novedades, les es un coñazo o lo dejan de ver, y la gente que le interesan las entrevistas lo vería exactamente igual si las entrevistas son al final, ¿sabéis? Lo mejor sería hacer la primera parte, los anuncios y los trailers, y después las entrevistas en la segunda parte.
If we're like brainstorming and something makes us laugh, we just put it in the game. That's just how we do it, and we pick up the pieces afterwards. Because we want to make something that entertains us, and then we know if we're having fun, our fans are going to have fun along with us. And so we got to explore, like really letting you get deep into this like weird radiation cult, and let you interact with them and talk with them. And tell stories and like maybe even join them. And so like for instance, one of the characters you meet, one of the first cultists you meet, is this slathering beast. He's got like claws and fangs and spikes jutting out, and he's drooling, but he's like the nicest guy in Cheyenne Mountain. Like you meet him and he's like, hey guys, you should like come in here and like soak up.
Esto por ejemplo interesaría a alguien fan de Wasteland. Esto en concreto puede interesar ciertos detalles, cuando tiene lugar el TLC y tal, puede interesar a un fan de Wasteland, ¿no?
If you took like 20 cultists and he like melted them into a big pile, kind of like I would do this with like a magnifying glass. I would like melt like army guys. And,
pero
like,
bueno, es algo que cometen, es un fallo que cometen siempre, que cometen varios eventos, muchos eventos de este estilo cometen ese fallo. Bueno, yo lo considero un evidente fallo, claro.
Was a ton of fun to write for. It's a ton of fun to like explore like what makes this cult tick, and he's an absolute blast. Hell, even some of the weapons that you find in Cheyenne Mountain, they're devolved cultists. Like, there's one guy and he kind of devolved into this like vomiting bagpipe creature, and he has this real like kill me vibe about him. But we get to play with these fun body horror themes that let us jackknife between sort of like dark and serious and like goofy and funny, which is a line that Wasteland really loves to ride. Like, you know, a lot of really important stuff is at stake, but, you know, the Wasteland's a pretty bizarre place.
Oh, I can imagine. Now, we talked before, you've been working on Wasteland 3 for a while. There's already expansions.
Por favor, Terry, Berry, o como te llames, no le des más bola, tío, que se vaya ya. No le des más bola.
What would you suggest for new players wanting to get into this?
And like I said at the top, like Wasteland is like the best version of itself right now because of all the work we've put into it over the past year. And so you can get the whole thing with the Colorado collection. That's the base game plus Cult of the Holy Detonation and Battle of Steeltown, all for a discount. Or if you have Game Pass, you already have Wasteland 3. Just download it and play it, and then you can get both expansions with the expansion pass.
That is awesome. Now, to kind of recap this a little bit, we've talked about, you know, spewing pus bags and these weird characters and the cults and the boss battles and all these really cool things that are going to be in Wasteland 3. But please remind everyone before we get out of here, when can you pick up this DLC?
Right, this Work of Passion, it comes out on October 5th. We're really stoked.
That is awesome. So this is the Cult of the Holy
Detonation.
Detonation coming
Yo
out
sale en nada,
October 5th.
estoy deseando
David,
jugarlo,
thank
tío.
you so much for joining us.
Sale en nada la semana que viene.
In the 3 years since its launch, Sea of Thieves has played host to some incredible crossovers, including unique ship sets inspired by games like Battletoads, State of Decay, Halo, and more. Today, we're excited to announce a brand new special event that will award players an all-new ship as a part of the latest wild crossover heading to Sea of Thieves. Better yet, this event begins tomorrow. So get ready to make some mayhem, and let's get our first look at this very special ship.
Scorn, estaría bien que hiciesen fecha, es verdad, el Scorn, cierto, es verdad, tío. Hombre, eso es Borderlands. Justo lo que me hacía falta para jugar Sea of Thieves, que el barco tuviese la skin del Borderlands. Borderlands esto, ¿no? Que es Borderlands, ¿verdad? Sí, Borderlands. Por un momento he dudado. Sí, es Borderlands.
Guten Tag, everyone. Really cool to be a part of this all-digital Gamescom event. And we were thinking, what's the best way to kind of celebrate Gamescom and to be a part of this as Sea of Thieves? And so we're really excited to reveal that we're bringing the Mayhem ship set that you've just seen, a really, really cool ship that's inspired by Borderlands, into Sea of Thieves, and we're giving all of our players a chance to earn it during kind of the Gamescom time period. So it's been really cool to work with the Borderlands team to bring this ship to life. And giving all of our players the chance
A ver,
to earn it
contarnos
as part
vuestra
of this
tremenda
ride.
experiencia haciendo el barco de
Cunningly titled
Borderlands.
Mayhem, you might notice the link. So you can probably guess the kind
Ha
of
sido una experiencia
activities
súper
that are
emocionante.
involved, But if you head to Larina at any of the outposts in the Sea of Thieves world, she'll be able to fill you in on the details of what you need to go do to earn the ship set. So we hope
Y ojo, que
everyone
van a hablar
gets a
también
chance to
de
take part in
skins de
this awesome
Halo, de
time
State of
limit
Decay.
event. So it starts today
no sé
and
qué
it
más.
runs through to September the 7th. So that's the time period you've got to get your hands on the Mayhem ship set. And I think that's it from me. So as always, I will see you on the seas.
Ah, ¿no han dicho también que va a haber un DLC de State of Decay? Tía, y yo pensando que iba a anunciar una expansión o algo. Madre mía, pobre de mí. Ingenuo de mí. Pensando en una expansión. Ah, Far Cry 6, el sexto tráiler, o yo que sé cuántos tráileres llevamos ya de historia vistos de Far Cry 6. Ah, no es Far Cry 6, me he confundido. No, es que como tienen casi la misma calidad. State of Decay 2. Es que con los diseños de los personajes. Este es de han dado un buen soporte. La gente esta de Undead Labs ha dado un buen soporte a State of Decay 2, de verdad, todo se ha dicho. Le han dado un buen soporte con un montón de actualizaciones gratuitas. Un nuevo mapa. ¿De qué hablas, diablos?
Welcome back to Trumbull Valley.
Well, just like zombies themselves, it seems everything old is new again in State of Decay 2.
No.
And we have a guest to walk us through this Undead update. Please join me in welcoming Undead Labs Director of Communications, Wonder Russell. Hello, Wonder. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. It's great to be here. Talk about the homecoming.
Dios, no me hables del DLC.
We are very excited to get this into players' hands.
You are indeed. So let's talk about the homecoming update. Obviously, we are coming back to Trumbull Valley. We were there for Heartland, the update, back in 2019.
Siempre que veo a esta chica, siempre me viene a la cabeza una película cyberpunk. Siempre. Siempre un estilo, es el típico peinado, ¿no? De cualquier película o videojuego con temática cyberpunk, siempre.
So that's all changed with the Trumbull Valley map. It is the 5th core open world map. It's fully remastered and it expands into
Mundo abierto, no me lo creo. Mundo abierto, qué novedad.
So players can return to Trumbull Valley with their communities, start new communities there, and really start exploring everything that the new map has to offer.
So then, would Homecoming be a sequel then to Heartland?
Yeah, exactly right. So the events in Heartland kind of play out. You see what happens in Trumbull Valley. So we think of it as the third part of our Trumbull saga that began with the original State of Decay game, continued into Heartland, and now we see what has happened since then and what storylines
Pues llevar cosas en la cajuela del coche.
So there is a lot for players to discover. A lot
Soy el meme de Capitán América. He entendido esa referencia.
And you know, things have changed. So this isn't the Trumbull Valley that players might remember.
No, si aciertas no, coño. Si acierta al contrario. Si acierta,
talk to me a little bit about what some of those things are
si
that players can get in
acierta,
on here now in the expanded Trumbull Valley.
Yes, a ton
le doy
of
VIP.
new content. In fact, we're
Si
doing
acierta
something unique with the
durante
Trumbull
un
Valley
tiempo.
map. There are items there that you can only find on that map and nowhere else in the game, including 12 new hats and outfits, 10 new very cool weapons. We've got 6
¿Os
new
imagináis que
bases,
termina
2
el
new
evento
achievements for achievement hunters.
y no dan fecha de
And on
lanzamiento
top
de
of that,
Halo?
we are adding the game's 12th bounty pack. So that will be available from the bounty broker across all maps. And I have to say, they are some of the coolest
Yo
weapons
puedo
I have ever
imaginármelo,
seen in the game. I'm
Puedo
so
imaginarme
excited for people
que
to
ese
find
universo
them.
seamos nosotros,
A juggernaut amount of content, and I don't care who sees that second pun of the day. That works out great. But let's talk about the State of Decay community, because it's absolutely an integral part to this entire franchise. And State of Decay being on Xbox
¿Sabes qué es lo peor? Que efectivamente no darán fecha.
How has that impacted the game?
Bueno, no os veo muy positivos, No os veo yo muy positivos, gente. Bueno.
One of the reasons we're doing Trumbull Valley as a map is because it was one of the most requested features from the community, which also makes it very exciting.
Os está mirando, Os está mirando el evento, os está mirando la moral.
And we have a major milestone that we're celebrating. State of Decay 2 has 10
Lo tienen que
million
compensar,
lifetime
tienen que
players.
compensar. Tienen que compensarlo con la fecha de lanzamiento, hombre.
Hang your hat on that. I absolutely love that. That
Really
is
grateful.
Incredible, amazing news. Congratulations to you and the entire team at Undead Labs, man. Fantastic work. Well, speaking of Xbox Game Pass,
Me sorprendería que no diesen fecha, estando tan cerca de la fecha de lanzamiento. Me sorprendería un montón que no diesen fecha, tío. Me sorprendería un montón. Que si no lo anuncian hoy, pues lo anunciarán, yo sé, en otro momento. Pero
My pleasure.
Now we move from Trumbull Valley to the Lost Valley of Akria. This mystical location trades zombies for ancient warrior clans, forgotten temples of long-dead god kings, and a healthy dose of hack and slash. All this awaits in Strayblade.
¿Y este juego? Ta-tan, tan, ta-tan.
In Strayblade, you discover the mystical lost valley of Akria, a world which ranges from overgrown temple ruins to frozen caves and winding canyons. A game world that changes based on your
Van a poner el trailer y la fecha de
victories,
lanzamiento. Tal vez el próximo beta de Halo Infinite a finales de esta semana.
You even get a fuzzy little pal to help you out.
Eso,
Between
eso.
epic fights and this small guy, there's clearly a lot going on here. So let's hear more from Point Blank Games about Strayblade.
Hello everybody, I'm Leonard Kausch, Game Director at Point Blank Games, and today I will show you Strayblade. Strayblade is an action RPG where you play a rogue adventurer who is exploring the ancient valley of Akria with his companion, a witty wolf named Boji.
Ya dije que... ¿Para qué lo baneas, tío? ¿Para qué lo baneas? ¿Pero qué ha dicho? Si no ha hecho nada. Si no ha dicho nada.
Combat and exploration are the two key elements of our game. Let's dive into the combat first. Our combat system merges strategic anticipation of enemy attacks with split-second blade-to-blade reactions. It is the high noon of skill-based melee weapon combat. To achieve that, we put our hearts into creating fluid, well-readable animations and epic cinematic finishers.
Visualmente me recuerda a Kingdom of Amalur. Visualmente hay algo que es parecido a Kingdom of Amalur.
Overgrown city ruins to frozen caves and winding canyons. Together with your companion, explore the deepest corners of an ever-changing
No puedo verlas.
bristling with adventure.
No puedo verlas porque esos mensajes.
Find rare materials, recipes, weapons, lore pieces, and beautiful places. Change is part of your journey.
Cuando baneas a una persona se eliminan esos mensajes.
The world around you. When you die, time keeps moving forward. Enemy skills stay dead. New foes invade camps that you weakened, and when Boji revives you, only
Bueno, da
one
igual.
thing is certain.
No me sale
Change
opción, no pasa
abroad
nada.
shapes
No me sale opción,
what
no pasa
now
nada.
awaits you. And of course, get ready for epic boss fights.
Hombre, yo es que lo único que me esperaba del evento es una fecha de lanzamiento de Halo, tío. Por la fecha de... Por lo cerca que estamos de lanzamiento de noviembre. Que si no lo anunciaran hoy, pues lo anunciarán, yo qué sé, mañana, o yo qué cojones sé, pero es que a 2 meses tendrían que mostrarlo ya de una puta vez. En serio. Crusader Kings. Hombre, para Xbox.
As in, my evil twin murdered 4 of my husbands because they secretly are in love with me. Unique.
In case that didn't tip you off, we're talking about Crusader Kings 3, the medieval grand strategy and role-playing game that has you trying to defend your royal line from those that would conquer your
Yo estoy aquí, uno, para entrar a saludarte, porque hace mucho que no. Muchas gracias. Y 2, para Scorn. Estaría bien que mostrara algo de Scorn y fecha, ¿eh? Hace mucho tiempo que no... ¿Qué va? Starfield no sale, pero Matilde no dice eso. Matilde no dice eso. Matilde dice que si iban a hablar de Halo, lo habrían dicho al principio, o habrían mencionado algo. O al menos eso he entendido yo que he dicho. Y no lo han mencionado. Crusader Kings es de estrategia también, ¿no? Joder, gracias. me ha respondido el juego que... Mira, adaptado a mando, adaptado a mando. Adaptado a mando, aprende Microsoft, cojones, a adaptar un puto juego de estrategia a consola, coño. Hombre, y lanza ya el Age of Empires. Hostia. Hombre, ya. Estáis sordos, puede ser, ¿eh? Puede ser, no te voy a decir que no, ¿eh? Igual. A mí se me puede haber pasado algo.
Real strategy requires cunning.
Yo esta saga ni la conocía, pero jamás. Yo, o sea, ni de oídas. Esta saga no la conocía ni de oídas. Y van por la tercera parte ya.
Crusader Kings 3 is wild. You
Pues ni la
really
conozco.
haven't lived until you've made an 8-year-old.
Pues mira, de puta madre que llegue también a consola.
Well, it's nice to have hobbies. We've all
Creo que
gotten into
se-
some weird stuff this past year.
Weird, like,
¿Se estrena también en
diving
consola, en
into
Game
people's
Pass?
brains and
Porque
exploring
en,
their
en
mental
PC se
universes
estrenó en Game
projected
Pass,
into a
si no recuerdo mal.
psychedelic 60s wonderland kind of weird.
Es que no lo he
That
leído.
kind of weird, which means
No lo
I
he
am
leído.
so excited for Psychonauts to finally get a sequel. It has been so long.
There really is something special about Psychonauts, isn't it?
There really is indeed. Now, think about this. 2005, when Psychonauts originally came out, was a different time for gaming. Most of the biggest games that
Creo que salió en 2006 el juego original, ¿eh?
Battlefield 2, Call of Duty 2, they were great games, for
2006.
sure. But they were all big, beefy shooter games.
Meanwhile, Psychonauts had humor, whimsy, and surprisingly heartfelt moments. It was an oasis of color and humanity in an era when games were increasingly turning grimy, dark, and combative.
Not to mention having some deceptively deep character moments.
That's why the original is considered a cult classic.
It has been a long time coming, and it is finally here.
¿Psychonauts lo consideráis un clásico de culto?
Psychonauts.
¿Consideraríais el primer Psychonauts un clásico de culto, tío? Sí, sí, no lo he jugado. Tú eres de los míos, Mario, tampoco lo he jugado. Y si hubieras jugado te reviento.
My name is Raz, and I'm the new intern.
Uy, becario.
It's my first day on the job.
Get ready, Rasputin.
Did you forget everything I taught you about levitation, Rasputin?
I'm not supposed to check out equipment to interns.
You did what? Can't we just...
No.
Quit picking on the new kid. We were all new once.
Artísticamente tienen detalle, tiene detalles a lo, no sé, a los personajes así de Tim Burton, ¿no? Muy raros y eso.
Oh boy.
Sí. Sí, sí.
It wouldn't be the first time the Psychonauts underestimated Maligula's power.
Leave it to me.
Este juego es una fumada. Los escenarios, es súper original, eso sí. Lo que es a nivel de diseño es original, pero es una fumada. A nivel artístico.
Well, it's clear I could not be more excited for Psychonauts 2 because I gotta be honest, me and that original game, we got some beef that needs settling. If you know, you know. The meat circus level, it is
Hombre, ella tampoco ha jugado el original.
difficult to say the least. It's the final level of the original game that came out, and I cannot believe I'm doing the math on this one. 16 years ago, Tim Schafer and Lizette Teatree Montgomery. I am definitely
Tim
dating
Schafer.
myself, but you all welcome from Double Fine Productions. Thank you so much for being here. Tim, can you believe it has been 16 years? I almost said 19 years.
Yeah, it feels like only
Lo que se me ha ocurrido no puedo
it
decirlo.
kind of was for Raz, because the story picks up right where the first game left off. And even though it has been a lot of years, it's a game that matters a lot to us. We really love it here at Double Fine, and we know that a lot of fans, it meant a lot to them. And so we really want to be true to the spirit of the first game, which we were able to do because we brought back a lot of the same
Está muy bien,
voice
ojalá
actors, and we
tenga,
also have a lot of people on the team
ojalá
here that worked on the first game,
tenga
as
éxito,
well as
tío.
bringing on a bunch of new
15
people
años
to the set.
después, el juego parece que ha salido bastante bien, o muy bien. Y...
forward, especially the cool style of Wonk that is very prevalent in the first game.
Style of Wonk. Just put it on a shirt. I'm in there for it. Let's roll it back a bit. Of course, this can be a kind of a trippy idea if you're not familiar. Psychonauts, they still jump into people's minds, I'm assuming, like the first game, right? So if a Psychonaut sort of dove into my brain, it would be like a lot of Ted Lasso quotes and French Bulldog memes. Am I correct, Tim?
Yeah, that's what's fun about a Psychonauts game is that all the levels are different, just like every person is different, based on their personality. If you could jump into someone's mind, what would it look like in there? What would be the color of the sky, and like who would the monsters be? And in Psychonauts, you get to do that because Raz has the power of astral projection. And when he goes in, he gets to fight those monsters and help people deal with their.
Yo también lo probaré, hombre. No, sí, yo lo voy a jugar, por supuesto. Como mínimo lo voy a probar unas 2-3 horas.
Anything goes. We can go to any location. We can have any.
Lo voy a probar unas 2-3 horas.
Coming up with new levels for the second game.
A ver si me gusta. Pues parece que tiene un estilo muy clásico. Parece que es muy clásico. A ver qué tal. Qué raro que no estés conectado con tu hermano. No me ha dicho nada y supongo que estará con sus cosas. Supongo que estará jugando él a lo suyo, a Dark Souls o algo, no sé. No me ha dicho nada.
How we could bring forward that style in Wonk and also bring in new levels and enemies.
Now, of course, it wouldn't be Psychonauts without new mental demons.
Está viendo la Gamescom. Pues no me ha dicho nada.
What does this mean? Does it mean basically is that we're finally able to slap COVID anxiety in the face?
Well, I don't know if you get to slap anxiety in your face, but you definitely get to slap some panic attacks. And COVID definitely caused a lot of those.
Y que le grito.
In addition to panic attacks, some of our old enemies have also come back. Our sensors are our favorites, and they're.
Eso ya lo sé, Mario.
And in addition to that, we also have our doubts. And some new enemies. There's our lovely sensor. Also, some regrets, some flying regrets. There are a ranged enemy, and they definitely are challenging. Our doubts are our slow, sticky melee enemy. You're also seeing our enabler here. He is our.
Pero no hace falta que me deis detalles, sinceramente. O sea, lanza el tráiler, pum pum, que ya y ya está. Si es un juego que sale mañana. Ya está, no hace falta. No hace falta darle mucha más bola, tío. Quien no lo supiera, ya lo sabe.
The original available now on Xbox Game Pass, by the way. Wink. Tim, why is Raz so good at rummaging through brains?
Raz is he has some very special skills. He has two whole sets of skills. One being the acrobatic.
Me da igual, cada uno lo ve en su canal, aunque estemos por chat.
Trampolines, swing on trapezes, and that helps him navigate and get around to all kinds of interesting places. But he also has this other side to his personality, which is that he's a powerful psychic. So he can levitate objects. He can use telekinesis and pyrokinesis. He has these powers, which people might recognize from the first game, as well as 3 new powers for the second game. He has the ability to mentally connect thoughts together, and he can connect 2 thoughts and actually connect 2 thoughts together to solve puzzles and to navigate in this game. He has power
o sea, si se pone en Nueva Zelanda ya se puede jugar. Mira, MacDire, lo preguntabas antes. Dicen por aquí que si cambias la consola a Nueva Zelanda ya se puede jugar.
And bring it into the world that he's in, like a companion in battle or in puzzle solving.
But let's talk about the story for a second, because as the original Psychonauts, we saw Raz training to be part of an organization, and now perhaps he's part of a whole organization at this point. And are there other brain agents, other Psychonauts out there that maybe grew up...
Es una hormiga, por cierto, ¿verdad? Es una hormiga. El protagonista es una hormiga, ¿verdad?
Yeah, we have a lot of new characters in this game.
We do. We have a lot of new characters in this game.
No, que es una garrapata.
As Raz arrives on the headquarters, he immediately
son personas.
Gets introduced to the interns. And the interns quickly tell him and show him
que es la mente de personas.
They're right down at the bottom.
Yeah, so earn his way back to the top again. He's no longer the coolest kid in Psych.
Pues pensaba que sería una hormiga o yo qué sé.
And much to his chagrin, his entire family, his entire embarrassing circus clothes wearing family comes to visit him in front of all his new friends. And so the interns find out that he's the awkward middle child of a circus family. Each one of them has their own quirks and foibles, and some of them are even psychic. And so a lot of their story gets told in this game, including their backstory and how it relates to the foundation of the Psychonauts themselves.
Well, I like that. And of course, as you might know already, I'm sold. But you, of course, already knew that. When can myself and the rest of the world
mañana
some beefy, meaty revenge?
Sale mañana.
You can get back to the beef and play Psychonauts 2 on August 25th on Xbox Game Pass and PC.
There it is. Lizette, Tim from Double Fine, thank you so much. And you know what? Extend a huge congratulations to everyone at Double Fine on the launch of Psychonauts 2.
Son personas, pero con un estilo muy particular. Sí, sí, y tan particular.
And you can catch more of Tim
Y tan
Schafer
particular.
asking those burning questions about the newest game in the fan favorite franchise in our Xbox
Que por
Play
cierto,
stream
ojo,
tomorrow. But first,
Double Fine lleva trabajando en una nueva IP desde 2018,
cleaning up alien planets
Por
in this
cierto.
supremely satisfying
Güey, de
4K
Gung. Mira,
60
este también lo he mencionado al principio de... del directo. Este. De Gank. Fecha, supongo, tal vez. Este se anunció el año pasado. Si no recuerdo mal, se anunció el año pasado.
The gunk's eating everything here. This planet is literally a paradise when the gunk's gone.
Vale, de Gank es como el chapapote, ¿no? El chapapote que hay por ahí. Este puede estar bien, este me llama la atención. Este a mí me gusta de momento. Igual después no, pero de momento sí. No ando fecha, ¿no?
We have talked about so many incredible games today, and it's hard to pick a favorite, but let me just say, it is so cool that State of Decay 2 is expanding Trumbull Valley. Come on! And hey, you know what?
¿En
Great
serio?
job on that flight sim interview.
Oh, thank you. I mean, talking to
¿Qué
yours
pasa?
is always a blast.
¿Qué
And
pasa?
Flight Sim is such a special game to
Víctor,
me because, I mean, it's literally letting me travel the world. But I was staring daggers of jealousy
Pero espérate
watching
a...
you talk to Tim and Lizette.
Ah, eso,
over
voy a
at Double
preguntar.
Fine.
Que no quiero levantarme. Es que si me levanto puedo perderme cualquier anuncio importante. Que llevan un ritmo que es un no parar.
But it's not the same as talking to the creators. Just trust me when I tell you. Be excited for Psychonauts 2.
I will say this as well. I am excited to see even more of Psychonauts 2 on our Xbox Plays streams.
Yes, don't forget. Xbox Plays will recap
que
all
igual me
the
pierdo algo,
news
tío.
throughout the week at twitch.tv/Xbox. So make sure to check that out. Before Kate and I let Playground Games take the wheel, let me just say that it has been our distinct pleasure to chat games and nerd out with everyone today.
Oh, it's hands down the best part of the job, for sure.
But we're far from done here.
Too true.
No, porque gritar puede molestaros.
Playground Games announced that
Gritar aquí, ponerme a gritar puede ser un poco molesto.
To 2018's breakout hit open world driving game Forza Horizon 4 arrives on November 9th on Xbox consoles, Xbox Game Pass for
Forza Horizon 5, no sé qué juego es ese, a ver.
And if you're watching our Xbox YouTube channel, switch over to our Xbox Twitch channel to see all this new exclusive content.
Un poco bastante me. Le está pareciendo un poco bastante me.
Room experience. And if you're already watching on Twitch or one of the Forza channels, stay right where you are.
Without further ado, let's dive in, starting with the new custom Forza Horizon 5
Menuda
controller,
putísima mierda.
which is available for pre-order
No, eso ha
today,
sido mío, eso
so
ha sido mío.
players can have
Sí.
it in hand by November 9th when the standard edition of the game launches.
¡Un mando nuevo! ¡Bien, tío! Justo lo que esperaba, tío. Increíble, joder. Coño. Bien, coño. Claro que sí. Un puto mando, joder. Lo que todo el mundo esperaba. Nadie se lo vio venir. Nadie se lo vio venir, tío. Un mando, tío. Joder, me cago en la leche. Nadie lo vimos venir. Nadie lo vio venir. Hostia puta. Ese mando lo hago yo. Cojo un bote de pintura y lo echo por encima y ya está.
Charlie here, and I'm at Playground Games with Forza Horizon creative director.
¡Otra! Otro con el pelo rapado. Otro sacado de Cyberpunk.
Hello, everybody.
Hey everyone, hi Charlie.
Hey Charlie,
Hello.
how cool is this?
That is stunning. Look at that.
No son
We obviously
gente
just
con
saw a
pelo
really cool
normal,
video
con
about it,
peinado
and
normal.
I'll be the first to say there is an amazing influence of Mexican car culture and music literally splayed right across the front, isn't that right?
Pueden ser originales y puede salir alguien haciendo una entrevista haciendo el pino. También. Por
and there's so
ejemplo,
much we do want to show
sería
the
original.
fans, and it's been quite
También.
difficult to decide where to start. So, can you maybe tell us a bit more about the game, Mike?
Sure, yeah. So, Forza Horizon 5 is bringing the Horizon Festival's unique brand of fun and freedom.
Forza Horizon 5 es de un festival. Oh, no lo sabía. Forza Horizon trata de un festival, del Festival Horizon. Eso no lo sabía. Eso no lo sabía.
Yeah, and people think that Mexico is just a desert or a beach, but there's so much more to it, isn't there?
Qué pena Delta sea moderador. ¿Por qué? A mí el mando me parece feo. A mí tampoco me gusta.
It also has vast canyons, hidden temples, awesome, beautiful historic cities, and even a towering snow-capped volcano.
Hombre, es cierto, podría haber tematizado el mando con algo mexicano. Como está el juego está ambientado en México y tal, podrían haberle puesto algo al estilo calaveras, ¿no? Como la Noche de los Muertos, creo que se llama ahí en México, creo que se llama, que es la Noche de los Santos Inocentes aquí. Unos mariachis es demasiado cliché. Es demasiado cliché. Aparte, quedaría feo el mando. Quedaría más bien como... Pueden ser calaveras. Exactamente, eso he pensado. Las calaveras del Día de los Muertos. Con colores también así llamativos. Pero... algo del estilo Guacamele. Algo del estilo más bien como Guacamele. Ya lo sé, ya sé que era broma, joder. Ya sé que era broma, joder. Lo has dicho por el cliché, no por lo típico que es asociar México a tacos. Hay a tacos a mariachis, joder. Es como si hacen un mando ambientado en España y ponen ahí flamenco a una flamenca, a una paella y un toro, ¿sabes? Es como lleno de clichés, que es normal, ¿eh? Cada país tiene sus cosas que los identifican a nivel internacional, ¿no? Pero a cada país pues le hace gracia, ¿no? Que se asocie pues sus cosillas. A Estados Unidos, por ejemplo, es una bomba. Si es un mando ambientado en Estados Unidos, puede ser una bomba con dibujos de bombas y armas.
Marks the first time a car features Formula One hybrid technology almost one-to-one from track to the street. And with the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands, that's primed for rugged.
Una AK no tiene sentido. Una AK es si es en Rusia, tío.
And I'm certain people can't wait to see more of what these cars can do in the game, so I don't think we should keep them waiting any longer. Mike, can you tell us about what we're about to see next?
Yes, so in a few moments' time, we'll be kicking off a Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go stream, and everybody should check that out for a big deep dive.
Vale, ya sabéis, si queréis ver algo de Forza Horizon 5, después de esto, van a hacer un stream del Forza Horizon 5, ¿eh? Pues si no sabéis de qué va, más o menos, pues podéis ver un poco más.
2021 Ford Bronco Badlands. And in typical Horizon fashion, we are going to see active volcanoes, cars jumping out of cargo planes, and a race under beautiful Mexican skies all the way to the Horizon Festival. Should we check it out?
I think we should.
Oh, es un guiño a Halo Infinite. ¿Lo veis? ¿Lo veis? Es un guiño a Halo Infinite. ¿Os acordáis del tráiler de Halo Infinite? Eso significa que el próximo va a ser Halo. 100% confirmado. Ya ves. Fuera bromas, está guay, ¿no? Muy espectacular. Qué guay. Esto es como en Rápidos y Furiosos 7. Hostia, que bien entiende el inglés. Hostia, ¿habéis escuchado eso? Parecía español. No existen los Reyes Magos, no existe el ratón de los dientes y no existe... O sea, no me digas eso, no existen los Reyes Magos. No jodas, tío. Me acabas de destrozar. Me cago en la leche. No. No, Van no. Sois unos dictadores, cabrones, ¿eh? Cualquier cosa baneáis, hijos de puta. Dictadores. No sé, el juego se ve impresionante. O sea, el juego es una puta barbaridad. No sé si es sarcástico, no sé si happens por la calidad del stream, pero el juego se ve que te cagas. El juego es una puta barbaridad. Habrá eventos, ya veréis como habrá DLCs o eventos con Lego otra vez o con Fast and Furious o algo así, ya veréis. Wow, tío, qué pasada de coche, ¿no?
So now we see the 2020 Corvette Stingray
Qué
tearing
guapo,
up
tío.
asphalt towards a dust storm in the Mexican farmland.
Outtrack the storm. Sigue adelante. Keep going.
Un futuro coche. Escala 1.48. Los típicos cochecitos, ¿sabes? Que dan ahí con las revistas infantiles. No, el juego está de puta madre. Lo jugaré un par de horas y ya después me pondré con otra cosa. El juego simplemente a mí me flipa visualmente y sin más. O sea, no soy para jugar mucho a esto. Pero visualmente es una barbaridad. Y aquí no se aprecia, ¿eh? O sea, no se aprecia en nada. Después veos un vídeo a 4K o directamente lo jugáis, pero... O sea, es una barbaridad cómo se ve el juego. Es una locura. No, o sea, salga Halo o no, o sea, esto no lo jugaré más de 2 horas. Los escenarios, por cierto, también de árboles, de los árboles, los bosques, se ven brutalísimos. Brutal. La vegetación es acojonante, tío. ¿Se sabe ya si el Fable está hecho con el Unreal Engine 5? ¿Está confirmado? ¿O usan, usan su propio engine? ¿Usan el engine del Forza Tech? ¿Se sabe o no se sabe? O sea, están usando este motor. Ojo, a ver. Pues a ver cómo cojones. A ver qué tal lo hacen, tío. A ver cómo se desenvuelve este juego, o sea, este motor en un RPG de mundo abierto, porque doy por hecho que Fable era de mundo abierto, vamos, no veo otra opción. Qué novedad, una carretera con árboles. Es que no lo sabía, no sabía si estaba confirmado que era el Forza Tech o iban a usar un Unreal Engine 5 como prácticamente todos los juegos que están anunciados, todos usan un Unreal Engine, todos, o la mayoría, no lo sabía. Lo más gracioso es que los postes de luz sí son así aquí en México. Porque como son, no me he fijado en los postes de luz, es que son distintos. ¿Es que son distintos? ¿Cómo son los postes de luz en México, tío? No me he fijado. ¿Otro coche? No me lo creo, tío. ¿Qué cojones? ¿Por qué lo muestran otra vez? Pero si se ha mostrado ya un montón Forza, tío. ¿Por qué lo muestran otra vez tanto? Anunciarlo otra vez, vale. Eso lo entiendo. Pero, tío, ¿tanto? ¿Otra vez? ¿En serio? Joder.
And on the final leg, we have the stunning Mercedes AMG 1 at full speed across Mexico's sun-baked rocky coast.
Ah, así son los postes. Ah, pues bueno, ¿no? Son muy habituales, o sea, se han visto postes así en muchos juegos. No son muy raros. O sea, son... Esta es la demo que jugaremos, ya veréis. Pues no lo había pensado, puede ser. ¿Forza Horizon 4 tuvo demo? Puede haber demo, sí, puede haber. Para que cada uno se haga una idea, ¿no? Para que sepa de qué va, para que sepa la novedad, ¿no? Cómo va, qué diferencia hay entre el 3 y el 4, entre el 4 y el 5, pues entonces si decides comprarlo o no. Buah, ese coche es una pasada, el Ford GT me flipa, tío. El Ford GT es una pasada. Creo que es el de Forza Motorsport 6. Vamos a montar ese coche. Es que a mí los coches me gusta más tenerlos que jugarlos, sinceramente. No sé vosotros, pero yo prefiero tener un Ford GT que jugarlos. No sé, igual es un poco... No sé si a vosotros os pasará igual, pero... Guapísima la fecha de lanzamiento de Halo. Guapísima. Dios, entonces sale el 20 de noviembre. Qué guay, tío. Qué guay. Dios. Pues mira. ¿Cómo puedo hacer? A ver. ¿Cómo es? Creo que ya está. Creo que ya está. Creo que ya está. ¿A quién has baneado ahora? Que no lo he visto. ¿Pero por qué? ¿Qué ha dicho el Alito? Pues nada, menuda mierda de evento, tío. A ver. Quiero probar una cosa, ¿vale? Pero se han acertado 2 o 3. Había 2 o 3 personas que decían que no iba a salir. No vas a ver nada de medio chat, cabrón. Qué mierda de evento, tío. Menuda chusta. Sí, no hace falta banear. No hace falta banear. Pero es que... Hombre, mira, tienes ahora un logo ahora. Mira, eso no lo sabía. Qué mierda, tío. Qué mierda. Me esperaba como mínimo. Como mínimo, me esperaba la fecha de lanzamiento de Halo Infinite. Como mínimo. Era lo mínimo que esperaba, pero no. Menuda mierda, tío. Menuda chusta. No ha habido nada. O sea, The Gung tampoco. The Gung lo han mostrado y no han dicho nada. Ni siquiera fecha, ni siquiera finales o principios de 2022 o algo. Nada. No, si no me gusta darle dislike. O sea, no doy dislike en mi vida he dado dislike. Si no doy ni like aunque me guste. O sea, no tengo la costumbre de dar like o dislike. Qué chusta de evento. O sea, qué chusta de evento. No solo ya por contenido, no solo ya por anuncios, que no ha habido... O sea, no me esperaba grandes anuncios, ni mucho menos. O sea, ya no solo ya porque no lo dijera Microsoft, sino porque no me esperaba yo de la Gamescom nada, sinceramente. Pero joder, mira, fondo de Halo, a todo. Pero me esperaba como mínimo fecha. de Halo Infinite. Estamos a 2 meses. Estamos a 2 meses de lanzamiento, tío. Me esperaba como mínimo eso. Como mínimo. Igual lo anuncio mañana, pero vamos, que... No creo que mañana ni de coña. Ni de coña. Habiendo celebrado hoy esto, mañana no pueden anunciar la fecha de lanzamiento mañana. Si van a hacer estas cosas, mejor no presenten nada. Sí, es que no han dicho nada. ¿Qué han anunciado? Han anunciado un DLC de State of Decay, un DLC de Wasteland 3 y ya está. Y han hablado de Age of Empires 4. Age of Empires 4 que lleva ya meses con fecha de lanzamiento para octubre, creo, o noviembre, o por ahí. Mañana dicen, chavales, era bait. No, si tampoco... Vamos a ver, si tampoco ellos habían dicho que iba a haber novedades de Halo. Ellos tampoco lo han dicho, pero joder, me cago en Dios. A 2 putos meses de lanzamiento, pues lo lógico es pensar, oye, van a dar fecha de lanzamiento. Qué putos, tío. Hombre, según qué State of Play, porque Lalito, la diferencia, lo bueno que tiene el State of Play es que te dura 10 minutos, pero durante esos 10 minutos son los 4 o 5 trailers de juegos y después ya está, cortan, no hay entrevistas. Aquí han sido 90 putos minutazos y 60 minutos han sido de charlas. Esa es la diferencia del State of Play. Y eso es lo bueno que tiene, que aunque el State of Play o el Nintendo Direct sea malo, van directos al grano. Aunque el contenido te guste o no te guste. Pero es que esto, tío... Muy mal. Muy mal. Hombre, claro, es que juegan con eso los cabrones. No me jodas, tío. Dicen, oye, no va a haber grandes anuncios, pero va a ser entretenido de ver. ¿Entretenido para quién? ¿Entretenido para quién? ¿Para quién? ¿Para que esté muerto ya? ¿Para quién va a ser divertido ver esto? No sé, a mí me parece una mierda. Me parece una mierda porque es que no ha habido nada. O sea, no ha habido nada, o sea, nada. O sea, nada de nada. Y lo dicho, 90 minutos. No es necesario hacer un evento de 90 minutos. Hazlo de 60. Si no tienes contenido, hazlo de 60, tío. Hazlo de 60. Da igual, tío. En serio. O sea, hazlo de 60 o de 40. Me importa 3 cojones. Hazlo de 60, de 40. Muestra los juegos. Haces un evento de 20 minutos, tal y como está. 20 minutos con lo que han anunciado. Fecha de... Yo qué sé, las fechas del DLC de Wasteland. Fecha del DLC de Flight Simulator. De yo qué sé qué más han anunciado. De yo qué sé qué más. En fin, y ya está. Lo haces de 20 minutos y para otra cosa. Y ya está. Tu trailer de indies, con nuevos indies, que había 2 o 3 que me han gustado. Y ya está. Pero no, 90 putos minutos. Y tuiteado que sale en diciembre. Pues son gilipollas. Son tontos. O sea, son tontos a más no poder. O sea, sale en diciembre, muestras un trailer en este evento y no lo pones. Que tampoco hubiese salvado el evento. Pero joder, ya dices diciembre. Es el meme, ¿no? Casi nunca espero nada de Xbox y aún así logra decepcionarme. Es el meme. Hombre, evidentemente... estaba muy equivocado quien esperaba algo similar al E3. O sea, eso evidentemente creo yo que nadie esperaba algo ni siquiera cerca ni la mitad, ¿no? Pero joder. Y sí, el Horizon, otra vez el Horizon, tío, otra vez. Que vale, que es muy importante. El Horizon es muy importante y tal, pero joder. Que no deja de ser un juego de coches, que... Y han dedicado demasiado tiempo. O sea, lo malo no es que salga, sino lo malo es el tiempo que se le ha dedicado. Es una mierda eso. Tocaba traer single player de Halo y fecha... Sí, totalmente, sí. Sinceramente, para hacer esto, mejor que no hacer nada. Lo ha dicho antes Lolito. Para hacer esto, mejor no hacer nada. Porque no han anunciado nada relevante. Nada relevante. Nada. Nada, sinceramente. Hombre, me alegro mucho por los fans de Wasteland 2, pero un evento para anunciar eso, oye, pues... Lo anuncias normal y ya está. Lo anuncias por Twitter, una nota de prensa habitual y ya está. ¿Saltar tan cerca de Horizon? Sí, no pasa nada. O sea, no pasa nada que salgan al mismo tiempo por un par de semanas de diferencia. O sea, no se van a molestar.